she sent a letter to her amputated father and then flew across the world to cradle a stranger's bandaged hand under flashing cameras. That is the scandal. That is the image nobody can unsee. And that is why this Jordan trip has detonated into something far bigger than a charity visit.
And you should be ashamed of yourself to show your face in public.
It's one of those extraordinary moments that will define Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in the same way that going ahead with the Oprah Winfrey interview while Prince Philip was dying in hospital literally did. Overnight, Thomas Markle was battling in surgery for his life in the Philippines.
Meghan was born, and she was born as a C-section, so she was put in my arm. I was the first person to hold her. Her little hand went around my fingers like that.
Save me your fake concern, Ms. Markle. Given your own father has had his leg removed, is in a foreign hospital, and you couldn't be bothered to get on a plane, but indeed, you couldn't have been bothered to pick up the phone. And I'm not surprised that your brother, Thomas Markle Jr., is completely outraged by the way that you have behaved.
Kevin, take the titles away of these two ingrates, of these two idiots. Meghan Markle can't find a steamer to save her life. I'm sick of looking at Harry's bald spot. Who are you there to represent other than yourself? You are the two most entitled, self-obsessed.
Jordan royal family, King Abdullah and his eldest son, who have a close relationship with Charles and William, mind you, they swerved a meeting with the Sussexes. They completely ignored them.
She loves that because anything Harry, or rather William and Kate, does, they can do better. So William was in the Middle East only 2 weeks ago. Suddenly, Harry and Meghan are in the Middle East.
Thomas Markle is 81 years old. 81. His foot turned blue, then black. A blood clot. Emergency surgery. 3 hours. Below the knee amputation. Life or death, those were the exact words. December 2nd, 2025. While most of the press politely whispered it as a family matter, his son was on camera describing how quickly it all happened, how there was no choice, how they had to take the leg to save the man. Right now, as this trip unfolds, he is in a hospital in the Philippines learning to walk again, learning balance, learning pain, learning how to exist without part of his body. And what did his daughter do? She didn't get on a plane. She didn't pick up a phone. According to her spokesperson, she sent correspondence delivered through trusted contacts. A letter, not a call, not a flight. A letter routed through intermediaries to a man who had just lost his leg.
Uncle's fake royal tour of the Middle East just got a hell of a lot worse. Not only are there Hamas connections, she is being slammed for the way that she dealt with this amputee girl, given that her own father is currently going through the process of being fitted for a prosthetic leg in the Philippines, and she hasn't been in touch with him at all.
That contrast, that is the entire story, because days later, she boarded a flight to Jordan. Cameras ready, wardrobe prepared, security in place, and she walked into a hospital in Amman and sat at the bedside of a 14-year-old girl named Maria, evacuated from Gaza, severely burned, toes on her right foot gone after an explosion. Real suffering, real trauma. No one disputes that, but what people cannot ignore is the timing, the choreography, the optics.
All you do is jeopardize the monarchy, the real members of the British royal family. When you go do these trips, you don't do any of your due diligence. You end up at places associated with, a certified terrorist organization.
She loves that because anything Harry, or rather William and Kate, does, they can do better. So William was in the Middle East only 2 weeks ago. Suddenly, Harry and Meghan are in the Middle East.
The whispers started immediately. William had just been in the Middle East. Suddenly, Harry and Meghan are in the Middle East. Is this coincidence? Is it competition? Is it a carefully staged echo? Because this is not their first so-called tour. Nigeria, Colombia, now Jordan. Always cameras, always tightly controlled access, always a single chosen reporter, always their own photographer.
The principal's head, her father is now dead to her. And it was an astonishing briefing to me. And she has stuck by that. But I just remind everyone that until Harry came on the scene, she had a very close relationship with this man.
December 2nd. The timeline is brutal. While Thomas Markle Sr. is rushed into surgery, while his son says life or death, while a leg is being removed, the daughter's public life continues uninterrupted. Thomas Jr. went on record. He described the blue, the black, the speed of it. He said there was no option.
All right, I do blame Meghan Markle Meghan Markle, the shit stain of humanity. Yes, Meghan, and I hope you're watching right now. I hope you're watching, Meghan, because you are the shit stain of fucking humanity. You're a disgrace. And I hope people spit in your face when they see you walking down the street. I hope, they throw human feces at you because of how you really are as a person inside.
And then came that statement, a letter through trusted contacts. That phrase alone hit people like a slap, because what does that mean? Why is everything filtered? Why is everything mediated? Why is there always distance when it comes to her own father, but none when it comes to a hospital bed overseas with photographers in the room? Thomas Jr. said it was mind-boggling she couldn't even give him a phone call. He said the goal is to get their father fitted with a prosthetic and walking again. And then he said something that froze people. He hoped that the next time Meghan sees a disabled person, she thinks real hard. Days later, she was photographed holding the hand of a child amputee in Jordan. That moment, that exact moment when Maria was asked on camera to show her injuries, the dressings, the missing toes, the damage so severe anesthesia had sometimes not even been available during treatment. And multiple viewers noticed something, not the rehearsed compassion, not the polished expression. They noticed her eyes, a flicker, a look of horror, of discomfort, as if reality pierced the script, as if the image wasn't what was expected. One comment with nearly 1,000 likes said, "Her eyes show the truth." And that sentence has been echoing ever since. Because while she sat beside that child, her own father was being measured for a prosthetic leg thousands of miles away. He has never met his grandchildren. He has never met Harry. He told the Mail on Sunday he does not want to die estranged from his daughter. He said he has never stopped loving her, and she sent a letter. Meanwhile, Jordan's royal family watched. Queen Rania attended William and Catherine's wedding. King Abdullah has long-standing ties with King Charles. Crown Prince Hussein is close to William. These are not distant acquaintances. These are deep personal relationships. And yet when Harry and Meghan arrived, there was silence from the top. The king met separately with Dr. Tedros of the World Health Organization. He met the WHO Director General. The same trip, the same organization that orchestrated the Sussex visit. And Harry and Meghan were not in the room. That is not a scheduling glitch. That is a statement. No official greeting from Queen Rania, no warm photo op, no joint engagement. The only royal who appeared anywhere near them was Princess Basma, an aunt at a single visit. That was it. And then came the round table moment that exploded online. Meghan physically stepping ahead of Harry to greet Dr. Tedros first. Harry, the son of the King of England, the blood royal, the reason that room opened in the first place. And she moved in front. People replayed it frame by frame. Commenters called it inappropriate. They said without his father, she would not even be in that world. Whether that's fair or not, the symbolism was brutal. And later, when Harry held a blue card prepared with remarks, she took the microphone first. His expression in that instant, viewers described it as fury, disbelief, resignation. Throughout the trip, more footage surfaced. Meghan reaching for Harry's hand, Harry pulling away. Again and again, not expert analysis, just raw footage, slowed down, replayed, observed. And hovering over all of this is the money question. Archewell Philanthropies reportedly contributed around $500,000 to projects in Jordan. That creates a donor stewardship angle. Fine. But who paid for the flights? The security, the hotels, the production team, the motorcade, the 3 outfit changes in one day, the strappy open-toed heels inside a hospital ward? This is the same organization that quietly restructured, rebranded, and shut down previous initiatives. The same couple who insisted there would be no half in, half out. And yet here they are, traveling like royalty while insisting they are private citizens. Then came the British ambassador reception, hosted at his official residence, introduced with full royal titles. Her Prince Harry, her Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Titles the palace said would not be used commercially. And former Minister Tom Tugendhat publicly questioned whether private citizens should be given that platform, because optics matter. And that reception told every camera watching that whatever is said behind palace doors, on foreign soil, they are still treated like royals. On day 2, they visited the King Hussein Cancer Center. King Charles has cancer. Catherine has recently battled cancer and is in remission, and yet not a single public word from them acknowledging that parallel. Just handwritten affirmation notes pinned to a wall, just the cameras. And somewhere in the Philippines, Thomas Markle Sr. is learning to stand on one leg. That is the image that won't go away. The letter delivered through trusted contacts, the hospital bed in Jordan, the flicker in her eyes, the royal family of Jordan choosing silence, the king meeting who officials without them, the push past Harry, the microphone moment, the ambassador's reception, the unanswered question of who funds these tours. Some silences say everything, because the deeper you dig into what happened in Jordan, the clearer it becomes that this was not just a charity visit gone awkward. It was a collision of image, ego, money, and monarchy, all unfolding while an 81-year-old man tries to learn how to walk again without his leg. Let's talk about that silence from Queen Rania. Not a handshake, not a photo, not even a polite joint appearance. This is a woman who understands royal diplomacy at a molecular level. She knows how to send a signal without ever opening her mouth. She attended William and Catherine's wedding. She has stood shoulder to shoulder with the British monarchy for years. Jordan and the UK are not strangers. They are woven together through decades of loyalty and statecraft. And yet, when Harry and Meghan landed, she stayed away. That wasn't an accident. King Abdullah met with Dr. Tedros of the World Health Organization, the very organization that orchestrated the Sussex trip. But Harry and Meghan were not included in that meeting. That detail matters, because if they were the center of this humanitarian effort, if they were the celebrity ambassadors meant to elevate the cause, why exclude them from the most important diplomatic moment of the visit? Because sometimes exclusion is the message. The palace in Jordan didn't attack. They didn't criticize. They didn't issue statements. They did something far more powerful. They withheld endorsement. In royal language, that's devastating. And then there's the British side of this equation. The reception at the British ambassador's residence ignited outrage for a reason. Harry and Meghan were introduced with full royal titles. The very styling the palace clarified would not be used in a commercial capacity after they stepped back as working royals. Yet there it was, on foreign soil, amplified through diplomatic channels. Former Minister Tom Tugendhat publicly questioned whether private citizens should be hosted in that setting at all. And that question isn't petty, it's constitutional. Because when you give someone that platform, you blur the line between private activism and state representation. And here's where it gets explosive. If the British establishment continues to treat them as royals abroad, then what exactly did stepping back mean? No half in, half out. That was the phrase, a clean break. But what Jordan showed the world was something murkier. A couple who are not working royals, yet move like them. Not official, yet welcome diplomatically. Not representing the crown, yet using the titles. And hovering over all of it is the financial fog. Archewell reportedly contributed around $500,000 to projects in Jordan. That figure gives this visit a donor inspection narrative. Fair enough, but that doesn't answer the bigger question: who covered the full cost of this production? First-class travel, security teams, motorcades, staff, controlled press access, professional photography, multiple wardrobe changes in a single day. These are not small expenses. These are not spontaneous goodwill gestures. There are high-budget operations. Is it Archewell? If so, are donors aware their contributions facilitate international tours? Is it partners, sponsors, governments? The lack of transparency fuels suspicion, and suspicion thrives in silence. Now layer that over the personal story again. Thomas Markle Sr. has never met his grandchildren. He has never met Harry. He told reporters he does not want to die estranged from his daughter. He said he has never stopped loving her. That sentence alone has haunted this narrative, because while she was pinning handwritten affirmation notes to a wall in Amman, he was adjusting to life with a prosthetic limb in the Philippines. And Thomas Jr.'s words continue to echo. He hoped the next time she saw a disabled person, she would think hard. Did she? Because viewers replayed that hospital footage relentlessly. They slowed down the moment Maria was asked to reveal her injuries. They dissected the expression, the flicker, the tightening of the mouth, the split-second reaction before the public face returned. One commenter wrote, "Her eyes show the truth." Another called the entire moment disaster tourism. Harsh words, but they are out there. And they're multiplying. Then there's Harry. Throughout the trip, subtle body language set off alarm bells. The moment she stepped in front of him to greet Dr. Tedros, the microphone taken first while he held prepared remarks, the repeated attempts to clasp his hand, and his visible pulling away. Experts can speculate all they want, but raw footage speaks louder. There is a difference between a united front and forced choreography, and people can sense it. Harry once said he wanted privacy. He once said he was escaping a life of relentless cameras, and yet here they are are traveling with a single hand-picked reporter and their own photographer, controlling every angle, every frame. If privacy was the goal, this isn't it. If service was the goal, why the constant lens? And then came another uncomfortable parallel, the visit to the King Hussein Cancer Center. King Charles is battling cancer. Catherine recently faced cancer and is in remission, yet not a word publicly acknowledging that shared reality. No expression of solidarity, just carefully staged images and affirmation notes pinned to walls. It felt detached, performative, and the comparisons began to previous humanitarian trips, to Angelina Jolie's 2003 visit to Jordan. Observers noted wardrobe similarities, styling echoes, the soccer moments, the carefully curated, effortless compassion aesthetic. But authenticity cannot be borrowed, and that's the core issue unraveling here. Authenticity. Because when you send a letter to your father through trusted contacts but fly thousands of miles to cradle a stranger for cameras, the public notices the contradiction. When you claim to step back from royalty but accept ambassadorial receptions with HRH titles abroad, the public notices the contradiction. When you preach privacy but stage tightly controlled media tours, the public notices the contradiction. Jordan did not explode this trip with criticism. They didn't need to. Their silence, their distance, their quiet exclusion did the work. And back in Britain, frustration is building. Prince William is reportedly furious at the constant blurring of lines. Every stage tour creates diplomatic ripples. Every carefully framed image forces the palace into a defensive posture. Because whether they like it or not, Harry and Meghan's actions still reflect back on the monarchy. That is the uncomfortable truth. The British ambassador's reception told the world they are still royal adjacent. The Jordanian palace's absence told the world they are not. And in the middle of that contradiction stands King Charles, battling cancer, managing constitutional strain, watching his son travel the world in royal shadow. Meanwhile, Thomas Markle Sr. is practicing how to walk again. No photo ops, no motorcades, no round tables, no affirmation notes pinned to walls, just rehabilitation. The question lingering after Jordan isn't whether the humanitarian work was needed, it absolutely was. The question is motive, optics, timing, consistency, because public compassion without private reconciliation feels hollow to many watching. And here's the part that truly unsettles people. If Queen Rania, a woman known for her grace and diplomatic finesse, chose not to publicly engage, what did she see? What calculation was made behind palace doors in Amman? What assessment concluded that distance was wiser than endorsement? Some silences are strategic, some are protective, and some are condemnations wrapped in courtesy. The Jordan tour was meant to project influence. Instead, it amplified doubt. It was meant to showcase humanitarian credibility. Instead, it reignited questions about authenticity. It was meant to reinforce relevance. Instead, it exposed fractures, personal, diplomatic, and financial. And as this footage continues to circulate, as the clips are replayed and dissected frame by frame, one image refuses to fade. A father adjusting to a prosthetic limb and a daughter adjusting her pose under hospital lights. That contrast is the story, not the speeches, not the reception, not the pinned notes, not even the royal snub, the contrast. And until that gap is reconciled, publicly or privately, this controversy will not fade. It will linger. It will resurface. It will attach itself to every future tour, every future handshake, every future hospital bedside photo. Because once the public senses inconsistency between words and actions, they do not forget. Jordan was not just a trip, it was a mirror. And what it reflected has unsettled far more people than anyone expected.